Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Corinne Brock. I am a digital content producer here at 21 Alive News. Let's take a look at what we've got going on today. A trial that was originally scheduled to begin tomorrow for a 17-year-old charged in a deadly shooting has been canceled due to the defendant taking a plea deal. 17-year-old Jameer Benson is accused of shooting and killing another teen last February, 17-year-old Sincere Thomas. He allegedly killed Sincere while trading her a gun in exchange for shoes. Court records say Thomas told him that she needed that gun to protect herself. Benson's robbery and firearms sentencing enhancement will be dismissed as part of that plea deal. He agreed to plead guilty to felony murder in exchange for 45 years in prison in that case. And now usually we aren't able to talk with family members of victims after these cases, and in this case we were. So I did want to share just a little bit about Sincere. Now we spoke with her family just last May on what would have been her 18th birthday. Let me get that pulled up for you. During a balloon release for her near where that shooting happened. Let me one for you. Now I spoke with some of her family members, including her uncle, Lewis Bright. He organized that balloon release in her honor, celebrating her as a 4.0 student, a young entrepreneur, and a devoted Christian, as they also took some time to bring awareness to gun violence. Bright said that his niece was too big for Fort Wayne, and adding that she was, quote, destined to do really great and big things, end quote. He also shared that he hopes Sincere's legacy as an outspoken, intelligent, and successful high school senior will inspire others to go after their dreams. And I do also have some other information to share with you that we just got in right before I headed back here, so I apologize if it's a little rough. Fort Wayne Mayor Sharon Tucker announced today that she will be hosting an educational forum on immigration. That meeting is open to the public and will be held from 10 to 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, this coming Saturday, at the Grand Wayne Center Convention Hall. Speakers at the current time will include Mayor Tucker, Fort Wayne Police Department, and Fort Wayne Fire Department leaders, and a local attorney who specializes in immigration law. The forum will allow attendees to learn more about what Fort Wayne can and cannot do as it pertains to immigration and customs enforcement. In addition, FWPD and FWFD officials will discuss their roles in protecting and serving the public. Local attorney will provide a brief synopsis on immigration law and the rights that individuals have, and attendees will have the opportunity to speak during a public comment hearing. An ASL interpreter will be available during that meeting. Fort Wayne Mayor Sharon Tucker says, quote, Fort Wayne is a great place to call home. I want this upcoming educational forum to show how we can come together as a community during challenging times to learn and grow as one. I want to be in a position to ease the burden of fear, explain the limitations we have at the local level of government, and give the public the chance to say what's on their minds. I want residents to know that I will listen to you, I will fight for you, and I will work every day for you. And now let's move back to the courts here. This afternoon, we learned that a 24-year-old Huntington County man is facing felony charges in connection with his infant son's death. Oliver Young is charged with neglect of a dependent resulting in death, aggravated battery, and domestic battery in the case, which stems from October. Now, a week before that baby boy died, he was hospitalized in life-threatening condition for brain swelling, and he was later released. A little bit more than a week later, his mother called 911 because he was unresponsive. The child was rushed to an area hospital where doctors found he had virtually no brain activity, as well as significant head trauma and internal bleeding. Injuries that doctors told police were most commonly caused by a baby being shaken. Now, you can find some more information on that story on our website. I will warn you, due to the nature of those charges, that it is not suitable for all viewers, so your discretion is advised in taking a look at that. We also have some new information on a missing Fishers teen, Haley Busby, 17 years old, unfortunately was found dead in Ohio. Tyler Thomas has been charged with tampering with evidence and pandering sexually oriented matter involving a minor. However, he is currently not facing charges in connection with her death. Now, he was identified as a suspect in this case within days of the teen's appearance, according to police. Let me pull that up for you. He is accused of meeting her through online gaming. We are looking for some more information on that, and we'll share that with you as soon as we know more, as soon as that information is shared with us just a little bit more. We are also looking to a national story that a lot of you probably have heard of. The mother of Today host, Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, was reported missing from her Arizona home last night, with police saying they now believe her disappearance may be criminal in nature. The 84-year-old has some physical limitations, but is of sound mind. Police emphasize that, saying this isn't the case of an elderly person leaving their home and just not being of sound mind. Now, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanios gave an update today in that case, and I want to play a clip of that for you now.
As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime, and we're asking the community's help. This community has always stepped up to help us solve some pretty tough crimes. I'm looking for that again. This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal. So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen something, heard something, to contact us. Call 911. We don't need another bad, tragic ending. We need some help.
We will have more information as we know more in that case, so stay updated with 21 Alive News as well as our app. We are also looking today at a competency hearing for a man that was accused in a battery last week, or is accused in a battery that stems from last year. I told you a little bit about that case last week. 21-year-old Tyler Allison is scheduled now to go to for a competency hearing next week. It was originally scheduled for today. He is accused of breaking into a Fort Wayne home while wielding a machete with plans to, quote, rob the place before killing anyone inside, end quote. Allison is charged with attempted murder, burglary, intimidation, and criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon. Altogether, those charges carry a potential sentence of up to 80 years in prison, of nearly 80 years in prison. He did have a competency hearing last month when Dr. Matthew Runyon shared his report with the court. Today, Dr. Kevin Whelan shared his report, so I'll keep an eye on that as that case moves forward. Now, we are also looking at a case that I have been trying to update you guys on. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. Case that I have been trying to track for you guys. However, this deadline keeps getting pushed back. A lawsuit against Bishop Luers High School. Now, this lawsuit accuses some of the Catholic high school's officials of covering up child exploitation. 9 young women are suing this Catholic high school, saying that officials were negligent in handling male students creating and selling video montages and digital folders with female students' names displayed over explicit pornographic videos. and photos from websites like Pornhub. Now, last month, the Allen County judge overseeing this case agreed with attorneys representing both the plaintiffs and defendants that a gag order would be necessary, and they were ordered to work together to create a protective order to ensure discretion and confidentiality throughout this process. Their suggestions for its rules were initially due 2 weeks ago. Last week, Andrew Williams, the judge overseeing this case, granted them an extension through Friday. However, they have requested another extension through this coming Friday. Also looking ahead, I do want to share with you some sentencings that are coming up on Friday. One is for Nishan Jackson, who was charged with attempted murder and criminal recklessness in a deadly 4th of July shooting last year. Another teen was charged with murder, attempted murder, criminal recklessness, and dangerous possession of a firearm by a child in that case. Samontre Anthony Roche Moligark was killed in the shooting. He was only 16 years old. Earlier this month, Jackson took a plea deal in the case, pleading guilty to an added count of criminal recklessness. In exchange for the other charges against him being dismissed, he could be sentenced to up to 6 years in prison in this case. The other teen charged in this case is scheduled to go to trial in May, and the second sentencing that I've got here to tell you about is for Corian Parks. He was one of 4 people charged in a deadly 2023 shooting that left 18-year-old Avion Antoine Romel Parker dead and his younger brother seriously hurt. Court records identify a disagreement between the suspect and victims over rap songs as a potential motive. All 4 of those suspects were identified by police as members of the same gang, one that had been at odds with Parker's gang for several years. Text messages between the defendants and witnesses point to Parker being the main target in the shooting, according to court records. And police did find some videos of the rap songs, which showed that a day before the shooting, Parker's gang called one of the other suspects, in this case Scarface, referencing a scar on his face from a previous shooting. And a video from after that shooting seems to specifically mention Parker's brother being hurt in that shooting and referred to someone as Cheddar Bob and said the person walks with a limp, referencing a character from the movie 8 Mile. Also in the rap were lines that seemingly outlined that shooting and all of its details. 2 other suspects in this case are scheduled to go to trial next